Alright, so I just finished and taking photos of this tiny house that I built, and I want to do something that scares me a little bit and video myself, kind of my takeaways, things I learned while building it, and kind of go through a lot of the decisions that I made in the design and materials, and just document this moment in time of who I am and where I'm at in my career, and things that are challenging to me as something to look back on, and yeah, just to have it documented. So I want to first talk about the design, overall design and idea of the tiny house. It was at the end of last year, just before Christmas, that I decided to build a tiny house. And so I got the trailer then and started to think about what I wanted that to look like, some of the main features, and yeah, the style. And so I spent a lot of time on that with SketchUp 3D modeling it in the computer, and I made cardboard models and just try to visualize what different designs would look like, and ultimately some of the main factors that I ended up picking this style of design where the roof meets in the valley, the butterfly roof it's called. I was thinking it had some benefits for with a tiny house, wanting to take advantage of the lofts. I wanted to have a loft on each end just to maximize the floor space, and so I thought that this style of roof gave you the two highest points would be at the two loft ends to make it the most comfortable it could be in the lofts. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then another feature of this roof is that it's really really good for water management, and that was a big thing I was thinking about, is where is all the water that hits this roof surface, where is that going to go, and how can I direct it to have it go only where I want and not cause problems. And so I have it all sloping to the center there, and then I made I actually had a custom gutter made, a little trough that sits in the center, and then it all runs to this downspout and all runs down here. And so for one, all the water is managed, I know where it's going. And for two, if you wanted to collect it, or have a rain barrel here or something, it would be really easy to put something under here, put a planter here, so it's all directed nicely there and not coming down in your face over the door or anything like that. So that was a reason I liked this design. And then also just some of the features that I wanted to have. Some of the things I was thinking about were I wanted to challenge myself with some welding features in it, and so kind of wanting to do more of like metal industrial style look. And I've done this standing seam metal roof panels on a project before, and I really love the lines and the flat panel and concealed fasteners. It's just really, really clean. And so I wanted to use that for the siding. And so I thought that with the cedar, the metal, and the minimal fasteners shown, minimal trim, I thought that this industrial style roof line also kind of fit for that. And so I played with quite a few different models, and that was kind of the funnest part to me, is like just moving. Even once I decided this, I modeled out where the valley would be, whether you have it directly centered, whether you have it offset to one side, and then also where the materials, if I was going to have two what materials I was going to have, where those should end and stop. And I did a lot of different designs, kind of following this roof line down with the metal, and then having the cedar coming at an angle was one thing I was trying. But ultimately I thought this gutter, this valley, the valley and the gutter were kind of a natural breaking point for the materials, and this is kind of the featured entryway, and then the rest of the house is wrapped in this metal, standing seam metal. And another thing with this roof, I really liked having the ability to kind of match the angle of the roof line with a couple of custom windows. And so I got those measurements and the angles and had those made. And I really think those add a lot to it. I think those are worth paying a little extra to get the custom angles matching the windows, or matching the roof line. And then I also decided to do the black windows kind of similarly for just more of a modern and industrial look, and I really like how those turned out. And then while we're on the back here, another feature is these two exterior lights. I liked how those also kind of play off that up and down angles, also play off the angles of the roof lines and the windows, and I'm really happy with how those turned out. Let's do a quick just walk around, some stuff on the ground, but just a walk around to go through the rest of the house. This corner, is where the transition for the metal and the cedar breaks, and then just a clean line with the panels centered from the center of the window and then evenly spread out. Back is all this standing seam metal, and I got pretty good at installing it. After the first portion took quite a while and took some time to figure out, just because it is a technically a roofing product, but so for trimming around, flashing around these windows with this J channel and cutting around those and getting the panels to fit under there and also snap on and fit below the fascia board. There's a lot of things that had to be cut very precise and then snapped in and without bending the panel, and so that was really challenging, but I definitely learned a lot and got pretty fast at it at the end, as I was moving down this line. So I like the look of just the clean metal, black metal looks really good. And then I had kind of reserved this back wall to be the kind of utilities coming in. So you have the hot water heater, propane coming in, an exterior outlet there, and then the outdoor unit for the mini split, and then the incoming power here, and then the outgoing sewer connection is down below there. So everything's kind of in here and looks as good as this utility stuff can look, I think. I'm happy with that. Another factor with this this metal siding is that it should hold up forever or be a long-term solution, and so that's what I was really thinking about a lot in this project, was just trying to not save or not just try to get by with something, but try to build a really quality thing that's going to last a long time and be a really good house for somebody. So I think that metal should be good for a long time. I wanted to have the French doors like this, and just a ton of windows on the front, just for lots of light, and it's always really nice. So coming inside, yeah, we can see that the two lofts, mainly starting out with, I did a bigger loft up there, thinking that would kind of be the main featured loft, and then this, I didn't see any reason to not include a second loft, just for extra storage or guests or anything like that. I have a pipe ladder, I guess it's outside, but built kind of just a simple ladder to get up to this one, just because I didn't think it would be accessed as often, and then I built kind of nicer stairs for that one that are pretty comfortable. And then yeah, from the jump with this roof line, I was kind of visualizing how it would look on the interior also, and yeah, just seeing the visual of the two ends being the highest, meeting in the middle. I just, from the very beginning, I visualized a nice beam running across the valley there, and so I made that out of just three smaller. I didn't want to put a big heavy beam just to save on weight, so I made kind of a fake beam, but I think it looks pretty good. And yeah, in here, the original thought was for the just the convenience of someone living in here. I was gonna have a downstairs bedroom with maybe a fold-up bed or just a door that you slide here, and yeah, just a permanently set up downstairs bedroom in this corner. But then thinking through the fact that I have two lofts, I figured I didn't necessarily need 3 potential sleeping spaces, and so I kind of went for making that the dedicated sleeping area, and then thinking through, yeah, if I was living in here, how would I want it set up, and just the state of the way things are in the world right now with lots of people working from home. I thought that it would be really nice to have a home office, and so with this space, I am open, free from making that the sleeping area. I decided to make this a home office, and was originally going to have a permanent wall here, nice desk and everything back there, but then it was kind of killing me to lose all of this floor space. It's about 7'7" wide, nearly 8 feet wide on the inside, and then this loft is, I think, maybe 6 feet, so it'd be 48 feet of potential floor space that you lose, square feet that you would lose if you had a permanent wall here. And so I was thinking of still giving an office space, but then also allowing the option to have it as entertainment space and kind of reclaim some of that ground. And so I made this sliding wall assembly to allow for that. And with the way it is right now, I think it's pushed tight to the back wall, so you lose a little bit with the width of the wall, but then you reclaim all of this, and then this bench slides out. Sliding bench that allows for extra seating, and then I visualized someone putting a couch in this space, so really you could have quite a bit of entertainment area if you had guests over, with a couch and bench and this push back and the TV there, and I think it looks I think it works pretty well. It's a good idea. I think my execution of it could have been better, but it was a big learning process as well. I think I tried to make my tolerances a little tight, as far as this has to be pretty much perfect for it to slide in, and when it does, it's nice, but I would have given myself maybe a little more play there. And then I probably would have upsized the caster wheels that are on it just to make it roll a little easier. But yeah, as is, we can pull it out. Kind of pictured it stopping there, and then you'd still have your room for the couch there. And then this would be in kind of the office mode. You'd still have the couch there, TV there, and still all your storage. And even if you didn't have a couch and maybe you just had a chair or something, you could still have this bench slide out, and maybe you don't even need a couch. So I think it's still pretty practical in this layout. And then coming back here, then you get a nice office space with your monitor, and then on this side, that side has a pull-out bench. This side has a pull-out desktop. So you can put your laptop there, and yeah, have a nice little closed-off office space with a nice view out the window here. Couple lights on your back, and then I wanted to I was thinking of just how my previous job, and lots of people are taking video calls quite a bit now, and so I wanted to think about like maybe doing some sort of pattern or accent on this back wall. So I did a vertical shiplap with a color called Hail Navy that I really like. I think it looks really nice and would look nice in a video, as a video background. And then I really like that color and kind of the accent idea. And so I made a little pattern on this walkway through here. Added some strips there to make another little accent that I think looks really good. So yeah, that's that space. And yeah, I'm curious to see how it actually plays out. I think it's a really good idea. I think for the right person, it would really make a lot of sense and be very, very useful. So we'll see what happens with that. And then kind of moving through the rest of the house, I guess we can go, just down the line here to the kitchen. I knew I wanted kitchen kind of in the middle of the trailer, as it's kind of going to be the main entertainment area, and the bathroom in the back, kitchen in the middle, and then office, entertainment table area where near the entryway. I thought made a lot of sense. And so just deciding on how I wanted this kitchen laid out, and for sure wanted a nice awning window. Just like the use of these, and that you can have them open even if it's raining, I think, and they don't let in as much water, any water. And then there's no break in it at all for your view out the kitchen window. I thought was really nice. And then centered on the sink here. And then I wanted as much counter space as I could give without making it too wide. And so it's wide, and then it's also pushed out about 2.5 inches more than a typical cabinet and countertop is. And so it's fairly good sized countertop for what it is for a tiny house. And then a really nice range, propane powered range and range hood. This thing puts out a lot of light and a lot of for the fan work. It's really good. So I thought that was really important to I'll turn it off, but I thought that was really important to have at least one way of obviously all the windows, but also with this really moving air through this space, I thought was really important. And yeah, I think we can just kind of go room by room. So we're still in the kitchen. I think this was something that I kind of made a last minute change, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I was originally, from the get-go in my SketchUp model and everything, I had the table in the center of the room here, and then the bench along the wall. And yeah, it was a good lesson in how SketchUp is a really useful tool, 3D modeling tool, and you can get a lot of a big idea of how things are going to play out in the real world, but also sometimes things in SketchUp don't translate exactly, because in SketchUp it seemed like a really good layout and everything to have the table here and bench along the wall, but when I was just about to fasten it, it just didn't, it was too tight, and it really constricted this space. And then also some of the other things I was thinking through is this, that your back is with the bench along the wall, your back was to the window, and then anytime you wanted to get up and down, you'd have to go around the table, slide into the bench around. And so I ended up putting the table flush to the wall, cutting out the window casing and notching the table so that it actually flows nicely right up to the window. And it, yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out, because it feels a lot more spacious, and then now when you're sitting down, you're looking out the window nicely. And yeah, you can open this window and get a nice view out there, which is really nice. And then this bench, or this table leg, this is one of the things I wanted to weld. Just I thought it would be cool with the angles and the painted black and everything. So that was a cool thing to weld. It came out pretty well. And then this bench, I originally had white when it was along the wall. But when it was in the center of the room as a big white thing, it didn't really fit, so I painted it and added some accent strips. And then this was a cool project to build, cutting little dados in these 1 by whatever they are, and making this kind of modern looking bench, I think, was kind of cool. And then yeah, now with the bench not secured to the wall, when you're not using it, you can push it tight there, and it's so much more open. It was the right decision, and so I'm really happy about that. And then also with it this way, this bench can hold quite a bit, and then also this seat, I guess that planter's kind of in the way, but if you needed to, this seat is kind of a comfortable spot for just an extra seat. This step happens to work out pretty well. So there's that, and then yeah, this planter was something I made kind of another last minute thing. Was I had an extra walnut and steel, and so I made that with the idea that that they'd be stacked on top of each other, and so you could water this top one, it would drip down into the next one, then drip down into this bottom one, which has a kind of reservoir there. And then I also, with the placement of it, I thought with as you're going up the stairs, it'd make easy access to water this top one. And just something kind of pleasing to look at when you're going up and down the stairs, so I like that. Oh, this table was a good thing too to make. I was kind of a little bit scared, or just intimidated by working with hardwoods and doing too much woodworking, but it just, no other thing fit really well. I originally made a concrete kitchen table, and it looked okay, but I wasn't sure it could hold up to only being supported in the middle, along the middle, and then also it was just really heavy, and a little brittle, and yeah, it didn't quite work. And so I thought that this walnut was the only way to go, and so I actually had my sister-in-law's father is really good at woodworking, and he has a shop nearby. So yeah, I was really lucky to have him work with me on building that, gluing that up, and yeah, that's one thing I'm really grateful for, is just having lots of help and guidance and people to ask questions and kind of help me along as I've been learning a lot and pushing into new territory. So yeah, it's been really great. Then these stairs, I kind of from the beginning, for whatever reason, I liked the idea of stained stair treads instead of all white, or just the tread being wooden and this being white. I wanted to kind of have it flowing up, and so I originally made just the frame, and then as I was shooting everything else white, I painted the frame white, and then I came back and stained these treads and then just fastened them after the fact. And then I put kind of a polyurethane floor finish, it was called. Put some coats of that floor finish on there, and so I'm hoping they'll stand up to the views that stairs would take. So yeah, we'll see. And then I was thinking of how to support this loft. I was gonna originally just have a piece of plywood or something here, but then I just temporarily, while I was painting, I had some rails supporting it, and then I kind of liked the look of that, and so I decided to just stick with that look, and just add more rails to give this lots of support. And then yeah, I think it looks a lot better than having it closed off. And these cubbies actually within the stair frame itself allow for quite a bit of storage. I need to add a little more trim pieces, but each of these cubbies can store something. And then I added a curtain rod or closet hanger rod here that you can store quite a bit of things, and it's just about the right size for shirts and pants and everything. So I think that's a pretty convenient spot for that. Before we move out of here, actually I want to show this mini split system. That's, from my understanding, that's kind of the way to go as far as heating and cooling a space like this. They're really efficient and work really well, and so I knew I wanted to use that, but yeah, like a lot of things in here, it's not a standard home, and so the standard installation and the standard way things are set up doesn't necessarily apply, just within the constraints of the legal limit on the width, the legal limit on height, and the trailer platform you're building off of, not a foundation or something that you could kind of do whatever you want. So with this, it's a good kit, but it's set up to, there's an indoor unit and an outdoor unit, and it's set up to just mount the indoor unit on an exterior wall like this is, but then to have the outdoor unit directly outside it, so that you just punch through. You have to run a few lines, condensate lines and control wire from the indoor to the outdoor. So on a typical house, you put it on an exterior wall, punch it through down to the outdoor unit, and you're good to go. But just with the width constraints, that outdoor unit, as we saw, sticks out a good 2 feet probably with the bracket and everything, and so that wouldn't work to be hanging off one of the outsides. So as outdoor unit had to be on one of the ends, and I didn't want the indoor unit to be, since this is the only heat and cooling source, I didn't want it to be strictly mounted up in one of the lofts, just to, it would be pretty uncomfortable, I think, to, that person would be sweating and this person down here would be not be getting any heat, and so I wanted to have it centrally mounted, but then that presented a challenge of running the lines from here to the outdoor unit without just running them right across the outside of the house. I think would look, yeah, just couldn't happen running across that metal. And so I ended up making it work, and it came out pretty clean. I was able to router grooves in this one stud to get over to this wall cavity, and then run it within the wall cavity down, and then to punch out below the table, which was going to be the bench, and that would have been hidden a little better, but punch out below the table and then into this stair frame and then down under the trailer, and then connect to the back. So the only visible part is that one part, and you could easily hide that with some little box or something. So I'm pretty happy with how that came out, because that was definitely a challenge to try to just be creative in finding finding a way to take a non-typical installation of something that's supposed to be pretty easy. So it was a good challenge. I guess moving in here, we just have the space for a nice fridge and freezer combination, and then added a shelf above, thinking you definitely wouldn't want to have a microwave or something sitting on the counter, so I thought if you wanted a microwave, this would be maybe a nice spot to put that, or extra storage for bigger items. I think works pretty well. And we can move into the bathroom. The bathroom was I guess the ideas with this were, I was trying to decide what I wanted closed off and what I wanted just open access to, and so I thought that the two main things were obviously the toilet and the shower that you'd want behind a door, and so I thought that was good to just put a door for those two items and then leave the rest of this open. And I think it really looks nice when you initially walk in and you look down this kind of tunnel through the stairs and the bathroom wall. You're right centered on the vanity and mirror and light, and it kind of reflects back to you. And I really like that I left that open and didn't close it off with a door or something. And then behind the door, then you just have the shower. It's a nice big shower, 36 by 36. I wanted a nice comfortable shower, and then just a normal toilet, and a little different flooring in there. I think works really nicely. One light adds plenty of light, plus the window to vent anything out. And kind of with the shower being a full 36 by 36 shower, there's lots of things like that it is a tiny house, but it's a 30-foot trailer platform, and so I was able to not fully compromise on everything, where the kitchen has to also be the bathroom, has to also be the living area. I was able to kind of dedicate a nice comfortable shower space, nice comfortable kitchen with lots of counter space, and nice big table, and then make a few things dual purpose, like the office / entertainment area and 2 lofts. And I think tried to really be mindful of being efficient with the space, but also not completely compromising comfortability. 'Cause ultimately, I hope that this is a nice, really nice, comfortable home for somebody. And here's not too much other than just the sink, and then we have washer and dryer hookups there. and space to put like one of those little washer dryer combo units here, or a stackable one, or whatever. Or you could even I left this space open, just thinking that whoever ends up using it I'd let them decide how they wanted to use it, instead of locking them into shelves or something and then they want to store a bike or something, something larger there. I figured this would just be a open, flexible space. So yeah, that's this room. And then I liked I really liked the shiplap, but I didn't want to do it in the whole house. And so I thought that this bathroom made a nice breaking point to have a good amount and have nice lines here. And then you have the loft lines running this way. I thought this made a natural space for that. And then also with this door, I originally had a kind of a paneled door, but I switched to getting this louvered door. I like the kind of continues the lines of the shiplap, and then the light kind of shines through. I really like that. And I also did the shiplap in the shower and toilet area. Moving up, let's see. I don't know if you want to, if we can go up here. I was thinking thinking through what I wanted to do for light up here, and I decided against putting a dedicated light up here, or cans or anything. I have the chandelier as kind of the main light source for the house, and but I wanted to have them. I wanted to have the ability to go to bed with light and not be tripping on these stairs or whatnot. So I made this a switched for the chandelier here, that you can have nice light going up the stairs, and then when you're up, then you just switch it off and then you're up in bed. And then I just made a little walnut shelf with another extra piece of walnut, and then you could have a switched light here, so it's not plugged in, but an outlet here for, yeah, plenty of light there for reading or whatever. And then yeah, you can see as you move further into the loft, you just get more and more headroom, so it's fully, even back in the back you get tons of headroom. It's really nice. And then you're looking down, yeah, kind of looking down the roof line to that beam, and then down into the kitchen and into that room. And then there's those angled windows, look nice from the outside, matching the roof line, but then I really like how they look from the loft too, matching the roof line on the inside, and then lots of light coming in there. And then you have the opening window, 2 foot by 4 foot window there, sliding, to allow airflow in, more light. Yeah, I actually slept up here last night, and it was quite comfortable, quite cozy. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's other. I think that's pretty much wraps up the tour portion. I guess one other thing is this backsplash. I was trying to decide what to do there, and I like the idea of introducing some more vertical lines. So got big subway tiles, kind of this marble pattern on them and ran them vertically, right, finishing at the bottom of the sill. And yeah, literally like how those turned out. And then with, I don't know if you can see with those, and then you're looking back at this vertical shiplap wall, kind of the more vertical lines going. I guess, yeah, one of the few other things were just the thinking through the colors and wood tones and materials and all that was kind of new for me, but it was a good experience to see how things play with each other and what goes with what. Ultimately kind of locked into this black and walnut and stainless steel and white, more modern look. And so, yeah, a few things like that, concrete table, and a few other ideas I had for the table didn't originally work, but then this walnut really works for the space. And then this bench being white didn't really work, but then painting it kind of a green black it was called, and adding the walnut accents make it really fit nicely. So yeah, that was definitely a big takeaway, was learning about how to, a lot of things that I like that look good on their own, kind of combined with the rest of the picture don't necessarily fit, and so it's good to try to keep to a common style, and I think it came out pretty well. So yeah, I think that's pretty good on the tour. It's been a good project. Lots of challenges, but had a lot of takeaways, and I've grown a lot from it. And so yeah, I'm really excited to see who ends up with it. As I've been working and putting so much time and thought and building every part of it, I've been thinking that it's going to be really sad that I'm going to have to sell it and it's going to go to somebody else. Then I won't get to enjoy it, but then also kind of come around to being really excited to see who gets to own it and live in it, and who will appreciate the choices I've made in picking materials and trying to build a really high quality product, and trying to design it to be comfortable and livable. And so yeah, that's going to be exciting to see. So yeah.